it's important to know the depths of the trial, right? So we're gonna get straight into it. We're gonna start from day one. All right. So make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's keep it moving. All right. So in fact, let me use this phone. Um. So day one. All right. Day one started on the 12th of May 2025. Now, initially, the trial was set for the 5th of May 2025. Now, yes, it did start on the 5th of May 2025. That was more of the jury selection, which took more or less a week to do. Do you know what I mean? And in some cases, for some trials, it can take 2 to 3 weeks, depending, but there were no issues really. Do you know what I mean? So it was good that did that. Maybe I should have reacted to that, but it is what it is. I didn't think that was really necessary, if I'm honest. Anyway, so the federal trial of Sean Combs began on the 12th of May 2025. Now, I need you to understand this is not a trial that is Sean Combs versus, um, Cassie, or sorry, or Mia versus Sean Combs, or like Jane Doe versus Sean Combs. It's the U.S. government versus Sean Combs. That's the important thing to understand. Yeah, I'm gonna put that out there right now so people can clearly understand what really is the situation. Because you know, some people want to say, "Oh, it's a DV case. Is this or that?" No, it may sound like it's a DV case, but it's beyond just a DV case. Yeah, so we're gonna detail everything right here, right now. All right. So, with that said, it took place uh, at the Daniel Patrick Moynihan U.S. Courthouse in Manhattan, which is situated in New York, under Judge Arun Subramanian. Not hold on, Arun Subramanian. Covered clock. So do you know what I mean? So that's the judge. Yeah. So we got to respect the judge. Yeah. So day one featured opening statements. That's day one. Yeah. So you would think technically day one should be really, the jury selection, but that is what it is. But the opening statements was on day one. And the first witness, which is Daniel Phillip, a male escort. That was the first witness. That's the first person to testify. Do you see what I'm saying? Like mainstream media, do you know what I mean? They will, or social media blogs, all that. They will try and push out a certain narrative for clicks and views. Yeah, like I get it. It's nice to have nice views, this, that, and the third. But like that's their aim. Their aim is for clicks and views. That's their aim. Their aim isn't initially to tell you the truth, no matter how harshly it is or how boring it may seem. So yeah. Anyway, so Daniel Phillip, a male escort, setting a dramatic tone for the 8 week trial. Yeah, 8 week. That's a long time. Anyway, Sean Combs faces 3 federal charges: racketeering, conspiracy, which is RICO, yeah, blank trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in blank. All right. Now, if you see me saying blank, it's because there's certain words I have to literally blank out because YouTube can be a bit of a funny one. You know what I mean? Anyway, bear with me. So, all of these of what he's charged with are alleged crimes from 2004 to 2000. That's a mouthful. Wait, no, did he? 2004 to 2024. All right. So, yeah. Anyway, so basically, let's just get straight into it. So, first of all, yeah, so the context and the charges are, as per U.S. Attorney Office, SDNY. Forgot what the acronym means, but we'll get into that another time. So, A, racketeering. So this is from September 19th, 2000. 24, right? Right. So racketeering conspiracy, RICO alleges Sean Combs led a criminal enterprise via Bad Boy Records, Combs Global, involving blank trafficking, extortion, narcotic distribution, and obstruction. That's a RICO. All right. B. Uh, Blank trafficking by force. I mean, blank trafficking is not. I want to say naturally, but that is really by force. You can't. There's no way. There's no other way to. You know what I mean? There's no other way to put that. You can't consent to that. Doesn't matter whether they say it outwardly, be like as if they are on it, like they I say on it, but like they are for it. It doesn't matter, like because manipulation is a thing. You know what I mean? So they may seem like they're up for it, but it's all about the context of how they got into that situation in the first place. Do you get it? Anyway, so claims comes coerce women, see, into blank acts, often at freak offs using violence, narcotics, and financial control. All right, now C, transportation to engage in blank. Accuses Sean Combs of arranging interstate travel for commercial blank acts. I mean, that's similar to B if you want to be completely real with you, but I see what they're trying to do. Anyway, so bear with me. All right, so Sean Combs' plea is not guilty. I mean, you have to be completely delusional to plead not guilty to federal charges because they have a super high successful rate because, yeah, they do their due diligence. Do you understand? They do their due diligence. I can't even say that word properly, but they do their due diligence. Anyway, so I'm trying to watch time so I can get on to the next one. But anyway, let's keep it moving. All right, so with his defense team, uh, Mark Agnifilo, why can't I say his name? Mark Agnifilo, Tenai Gregos, arguing consensual relationships and no criminal enterprise. Okay, so here's the thing, right? I can see where that defense can come from because it's like you consented to this. You know what I mean? But no, you didn't. No, they didn't. They consented to be in a relationship. Well, we'll get into that. You know what I mean? This is just a full recap. But from what I'm seeing so far, do you know what I mean? So let's just focus it as if I don't know anything. Let's just focus on that way, and then it's a lot more easier for me to not judge like that. I'll just say, okay, let me just start over. All right, so day one focus, prosecutors aim to establish Sean Combs' coercive control and enterprise, while the defense framed the case as mischaracterized personal disputes. See, here's the thing: it's so easy to have that defense because it's like, how else can you defend those charges? Yeah, like I don't know. But anyway, so day one began with open statements, as we said, from both sides. Yeah, key thing is from both sides. It has to be from both sides because at the end of the day, you got the it's the U.S. government versus, you know what I mean, Sean Combs. So you're gonna have to hear both sides at the start. All right, so followed by a testimony from Daniel Phillip, a male escort who claimed he was paid for a freak-off involved with Cassie Ventura. We need to respect her marital name, so Cassie Fine. All right. So yeah, so Cassie Ventura under Sean Combs' direction. Let me read that again. Daniel Phillip, a male escort who claimed he was paid for a freak-off involving Cassie Ventura under Sean Combs' direction. The 2016 hotel surveillance video showing Sean Combs assaulting Cassie was introduced, played multiple times, and became a focal point. It's so interesting that because I remember seeing that video, right? And I'm like, can they use that in a court? That was my thing. Can they use that? now that it's out there like that? Can they? I don't know. But obviously they can. But again, this is the U.S. government versus Sean Combs. All right. All right. So let's keep it moving. Where was I now? So the 2016 hotel surveillance video showing Sean Combs assaulting Cassie was introduced, played multiple times, and became a focal point. Sean Combs' family, including sons Quincy Brown and Justin Combs, we won't even get into that. I might have to do another reaction video of it based on that. But hey, the BMF connection. Anyway, let me not get into that. Let's not get into that. If you want to know more about BMF and the whole situation, now I'm going to react to the TV series another time. So you've got to stay tuned, stay subscribed. When you're notified for me to react to that, or when I'm live or whatever, we'll get into that. But anyway, so it'll be interesting if the BMF series does continue and we get onto that situation. Knowing 50 Cent, he's gonna make sure that information is out there like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, and it's funny because Quincy is actually Albie Shaw's son. But anyway, and this is anyway. I don't refer to that. All right, so they obviously attended with Sean Combs, making a heart gesture to them, noted by. So yeah, heart. Where was that? Okay, yeah. So sure, he made that heart gesture to them. All right, cool. Whatever, man. The day set up the prosecution narrative of a violent, organized enterprise versus the defense claim of consensual private behavior. Consensual private behavior. Let's continue. Let's see why they want to say it's consensual. Yeah. Why do they want to say it's consensual? And then why does the prosecutors want to make it seem like Sean Combs in this particular way? Like they must have the reason, they must have the evidence for it to be this way, right? Surely. And they have a high successful rate. So if they've got a high successful rate, that means they've got a lot of substantial evidence, yeah, a lot of pre-testimonies. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, let's keep it moving. I don't know how the court system works in general, especially in America, especially when it comes to the feds. I don't know. I'm just saying what I think. Yeah, but we're gonna keep it moving. So, opening statements. Prosecuting Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey described Sean Combs as an orchestrator of decades long of criminal enterprise that used his music empire to empire. Is Empire about Diddy? You know, I remember when Empire came out, yeah. And I remember some people, I haven't even watched the series, I'll be real with you. And I remember some people saying, oh, it's to do with Diddy. It's got me thinking, I might have to watch Empire now. I promise, now I want to watch Empire. Anyway. So yeah, so basically, that used his music empire to exploit women, forcing them into freak-offs, elaborate blank events involving narcotics, escorts, and recordings for blackmail. She highlighted the 2016 video as proof of Sean Combs' violent coercion, tying it all to the charges. That's interesting. Using that piece of evidence to tie it all in. Because you got to remember, that's at a hotel. So what was going on at that hotel? So if you link it, it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. I see where the prosecutor is coming from. I see where they're coming from. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can see where they're coming from. So one of the standout quotes that I believe, that's what I'm saying, I can see where they're coming from, is Sean Combs didn't just build a music empire, he built a machine to control, exploit, and silence women, beating Cassie in 2016 to keep her in line, right? So now we're going to link the charges. This is the key thing I want people to understand. So pay attention to this, right? Now, link to the charges. RICO. The machine references a criminal enterprise with a pattern of abuse, extortion, and trafficking. The video shows a predicate act assault with the enterprise. A predicate act. That means it's a federal crime. Do you get it? A federal crime. Anyway, because like I said, this is not about Cassie versus Diddy. This is literally, or Sean Combs, this is literally the US government versus Sean Combs. What I want you to do, I want you to do your homework after this. Yes, homework. Yeah, let me be your teacher. Now, all jokes aside, no, you could do your homework, right? You could do more research on this. Look at other federal cases, right? And you're going to see there's a pattern. Yeah, the pattern, whenever it's a federal case, it is the US government versus that person. The US government versus that person. That's just a fact. It's not like I'm making that up. I'm just saying exactly what it is. You can do your homework on that. Don't just take my word for it. See it for yourself. All right. So the next thing that links to the charge is the blank trafficking. Beating Cassie suggests physical coercion, implying her freak of participation was forced, not consensual. Now, transportation, yeah, the enterprise scope hints at interstate travel for freak offs, though less emphasized. All right. All right. So when you think about it, that's that from the prosecution side. Now, what about defense? What about the defense? Now, before we get to defense, let me just get me because, yeah. All right. So the defense, Mark Agnifilo admitted the 2016 video is disturbing. So how you starting like that? It's disturbing. Yeah. The person you're defending has done something that is very disturbing, and you're defending him. You're trying to see it. Anyway, no, listen. Anyway, let's just focus. Let's focus. Anyway, he admitted that the 2016 video is disturbing, but argued it's a domestic dispute, not evidence of federal crimes. Now, remember what I said. This is the U.S. government versus Sean Combs, not Cassie versus Sean Combs. There's a difference. Cassie had her versus Sean Combs. That was a what you call it? I forgot what it's called. You can leave it in the comments below if you can remind me. What's it called again? A civil lawsuit. That's a civil lawsuit. Obviously, she could still have done a criminal lawsuit, but that it wouldn't necessarily be a federal lawsuit. You get it? It'll be more of a. But it's funny because I'm thinking to myself, hang on, is that true? Because now I'm just thinking about Aubrey Graham's lawsuit against UMG, which he filed in the federal court. So maybe it's different depending on the context of it. I don't know. I don't know. But you can let me know the details if you know more information. Yeah, because I'm not gonna act like I know it all. You know what I mean? But anyway, so Agniflo admitted 2016 video disturbing, but argued it's a domestic dispute, but argued it's I said not evidence of federal crimes. He portrays Sean Combs' lifestyle as a consensual with freak-offs as private kinky parties, not trafficking or RICO. He questioned witness credibility, suggesting bias or exaggeration. See, this is the thing. When it comes to the court of law, especially if you're subpoenaed, you cannot lie or exaggerate. Exaggeration is still kind of lying, right? But still is lying. It's just emphasizing on certain certain things that may have taken place. Do you see what I'm going to say? You have to tell the truth. You have to tell, because if you don't tell the truth, it's perjury. And if you lie in court, because perjury is lying in court, if you lie in court and they find that you lie in court, you're going to jail. You're going to jail, irrespective if you've got immunity. And that's the other thing. If they've got immunity, I guarantee you they're going to tell the full truth. They're not going to be, do you know what I mean? Because even they could, I'm not going to say they were threatened, but I guarantee they can let them know, look, you can come out and say what you need to say. You need to be truthful, you need to be honest. And if you don't, we can revoke the immunity. You see what I'm trying to say? That depends on the situation. I'm not saying everyone has immunity. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying exactly what I think is possible. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so basically with that one, so that kind of makes sense to why he would say that. So so basically, one of the standout quotes is Sean Combs from the defense team. Is Sean Combs is a flawed man, not a criminal mastermind. That video is ugly, but it's not trafficking. Obviously, it's not trafficking. On based on face value, it's not trafficking. It was definitely a domestic dispute, clearly, because obviously you could see and you could see she was trying to get away. Why wouldn't you let her get away? Why? Why? If she doesn't want to be there, you can't force. You shouldn't force someone to be where they don't want to be. Do you know what I'm saying? And the fact that it took this years for us to know that that video existed. Obviously, we shouldn't really need to know that video existed, to be honest. But the fact that it's out there like that, are you telling me, yeah, that there isn't anything more sinister than that? Like, what? Trying to protect his image? Why are you trying to protect your image? Own that. Be accountable. Show up who you are. Learn from it. You learn and grow. I'm not saying you have to be that way to not learn and grow, but if you've done wrong, you've done wrong. You know what I mean? Just admit it. But anyway, so the link to the charges, like I said, RICO by denying criminal mastermind, Agnifo challenges the enterprise element, arguing no organized crime exists. Blank trafficking, calling it a fight between lovers, suggests consent, negating coercion claims. Transportation implies any travel was personal, not for blank. If you want to roll with that line, roll with that way line. So also, so obviously you can see the defense team is trying to frame it as it's just a domestic dispute. And this is the other thing, the way that the mainstream media and social media blogs have also tried to portray it, they also tried to portray it as a domestic dispute. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Obviously, I'm trying to see things as face value as now, trying to look at from day one. But at the same time, if we're going back in time, like even like the past few weeks, you know what I mean? Like I've seen it. Like people are really thinking it's a domestic dispute, but if you don't know the full details and you're not paying attention to the full details, you ain't really got. You can't really judge to say what it is. If you are knowing the full details, then you can judge. And it's all right, everyone can have their own different opinions. But let me ask you this question in the comments below. Let me know, what do you think it is? Do you think it's a domestic dispute based on this face value of what we know now? Is it a domestic dispute or is it a federal crime with many charges? Let me know, because I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Because from face value, I'm going to just say this. There are multiple charges that Sean Combs has been charged with as a federal crime, right? That he's allegedly been involved with. Yes, he pled guilty, but that's not just to say that he is innocent, nor is it to say that he is guilty. We still have to find that information out. That's basically what it is from day one. Yeah, from day one. Yeah, get me? Because we can all laugh and joke and make memes and do all this on social media. Like we can all do that, but we have to be honest with ourselves and we have to realize there's a lot more things that are being at play here. But anyway, let's keep it moving. So the testimony from Daniel Phillip, a male escort who testified about participating in a freak-off arranged by Combs involving Cassie in 2015. Not 2016, 2015. All right, let's keep it moving now. All right, details. Daniel Phillip claimed Sean Combs paid him $4,000 for a blank encounter with Cassie while Sean Combs watched and directed. You see, now if you wanted to be a P director, you still could have done that. Do you know what I'm saying? I swear Anyway, I'm gonna say something mad, yeah, but I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say I swear I've seen a random interview with a rapper, by the way, no names, no names, like, but he looked fully focused. He didn't look like but then again, it's not the same thing when I think about it. It's not the same thing. But yeah, like maybe I'm just trying to wrap it around my mind, thinking, how do you? Yeah. Anyway, where was I? Like, my notes just went wayward. All right, so he described Cassie as uncomfortable. Daniel Phillip described Cassie as uncomfortable. Do you see the pattern here? I said Sean Combs supplied narcotics such as MDMA, which is Molly, right? The prosecution used Daniel Phillip to show Sean Combs control and organization, while the defense cross-examined to suggest that encounter was consensual. From what Daniel Phillip said, it clearly was not consensual. It was clearly coercion. And if you think in 2016, she tried to run away, but she couldn't get away, basically. And so what do you think happened in 2015? Did she try to run away? But she unfortunately felt like there's certain consequences could happen. Think. Anyone who doubts this, I don't know. But again, I'm not in the courthouse to really see the evidence, all that stuff there. Because in the first place, I may need therapy. I won't even lie to you. I'm not even joking. I would think I would need therapy if I had to be a juror on this particular case. No. I would need therapy. Like I would need the New York State, whoever's in charge of all of that stuff to pay for my therapy session. In fact, I wish that for every juror, yeah, pay for their therapy session because this is crazy. Anyway, so obviously, let's talk about link to the charges. All right. In fact, stand-up quote: Diddy paid him $4,000 to be with Cassie. She looked uncomfortable, like she had no choice. She looked uncomfortable, like she had no choice. All right. Now, linked to charges: RICO, the payment and organization Sean Combs directing, indicate a criminal enterprise with structured free-offs as a predicate act. Let's keep it moving. Blank trafficking. Cassie's uncomfortable demeanor suggests coercion, implying forced participation in the blank act. Transportation. Phillips' testimony, or Daniel Phillips' testimony, hints at interstate logistics, which is travel for escorts, though not explicitly stated on day one. But clearly that's what he implies. But sometimes you can't go by what people imply. You have to go by what is said and how they say it. You understand? Body language is everything. Tone of voice is everything. So that's pretty much that one, and pretty much that's pretty much that on this day, on day one. But let me know what your thoughts are. All right, let me know what your thoughts are on day one. All right, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, we'll keep it moving.